describe, but just exhaustion. It's been a long, long day. And just realize that, like, if you guys want to make it, there's so much stuff you have to do. There's so much work that's required to become successful that it's honestly just crazy sometimes. You're going to have those packed days when you have just like meeting after meeting or thing you have to work on after thing you have to work on. You're going to get to the point where your to-do lists are just like, 20 plus items long. And even though you're doing a really good job of keeping track of everything, you just have so much going on. But realize those are the moments that you just have to keep attacking, keep pushing, and understand that you signed yourself up for this. No one's making you do anything. You can be like everybody else. You can go out and just not do any of this work if you don't want to. No one's making you. But if you really deep down want something more, you have to go through this period of doing this work and doing it to an extent that is almost like sickening and almost crazy, but it's to the extent that's going to allow you to build something greater than this. It's allowing you to get more done in a shorter amount of time because you're just out there pushing your personal limits all the time. You're seeing what are you actually capable of? What else can you do that you didn't think you could do before, but you're stretching yourself beyond what you used to think was your max. And you're redefining kind of your PR in a sense. For me, it's been just an absolutely hectic day, full day of classes and just like tons and tons of work that still needs to be done. And right now it's like, it's 10 p.m. pretty much. So just realize that that is like what you have to do. So many people in this world are not where they need to be because they're not doing the work that's necessary. And understand that, it may be kind of sad to think about this, but your whole life is just gonna be a bunch of work for the most part. You're gonna have your journey of you getting better and it just requires a lot of work. I think that you shouldn't view it as like, oh my gosh, poor me, I have so much work to do. You should view it as like, this is what I need to do to get better, and just view it like that. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just, it is what it is. Just take it with face value because understanding that this is the way that you're gonna improve yourself. This is the only way. And it's such an important concept that nobody understands. Work is the key to success. That's all it is. You look at any sport, any person who's successful, it's just a ton of work. So the sooner you can get used to that idea of doing tons and tons of work and of kind of callousing yourself to that level of work so that it doesn't like bother you and you just make that your new norm, the sooner you're going to actually achieve success and become more than what you thought you were even capable of becoming. And I think what goes along with that is there's so many different ways you can do work, so many different things that you can push yourself in, that you should always be trying to find that new extra thing that's going to make you grow or see a new perspective, because those are the most important ways to keep your self-growth and self-development up on the rise. Understand that we live in a time where you can literally go from having an idea of something, to execution in probably like an hour or even maybe a day. And that pipeline is becoming so synchronous that it's becoming like almost second nature, that if you're not taking that kind of action, but your head is filled with ideas, you're honestly doing something seriously wrong. You need to go out there and take your ideas, put them on paper, and actually execute them and turn them into something real life and tangible. Understand that before any successful person became successful, all they had was an idea, all they had was a concept about what a different life could be like, what their full potential could look like, and that's all something that you don't have right now. That's the biggest thing I can stress, is that right now, you're not gonna be where you want to be. But that's the whole point of journey and growth and getting better, is that you're striving to grow yourself in new ways. And the hard truth about that is that it takes failure again and again and again to reach that level of personal growth that you want to become better. And so many people are afraid of those failures, but realize that, if you die tomorrow, no one's going to remember the failures. No one's going to remember any of that, and it's all not going to matter. So what are you so afraid of? Why don't you just live your life to the fullest, take those risks, go all out and see what you can do? So many people live in this shell of themselves. They're concerned about what other people think, and they're living every moment of their life for someone else. Realize that if you actually want to make this your life and not somebody else's, you have to go out and strive and take those risks and not be afraid of what other people think, because it's honestly your life. And as a result of that, you shouldn't let other people dictate what you need to do, and you shouldn't let their judgments affect your actions. If you know you're on the right path, don't let a bunch of other people who don't share your vision dissuade you from continuing down that path. So many things in life, we're not going to get the validation or recognition we deserve. There'll be those hours and hours at late nights, you're just working and nobody's there to watch it. So just trust the process. Realize that just because nobody's there to pat you on the back for doing a good job, you need to be able to pat yourself on the back. You need to be your number one cheerleader, because in those moments, the biggest thing you can do for yourself to become successful is continue to push yourself. Even when you feel like you have nothing left, just keep going, because you can always find just a little bit more, and that's going to unlock the key to your full potential. So many times we need to shift our mindset towards honestly just expecting the absolute worst. Expect everything to go wrong. Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. When we go into that mindset, we can actually be a lot more grateful for the things that do go right. Instead of viewing everything as like, oh, this should all go perfectly, we need to take a look at like, okay, what can fail here? What cannot work well? And by doing that, taking that different approach, you're propelling your life forward, because you're understanding that, hey, everything that does go well, that's a great achievement on my end. And that allows you to have a lot more healthy comparison with yourself. So many times with social media, we're comparing ourselves with maybe the top 1%, or even people who have like filtered their lives and filtered out a lot of their failures. If you go to any social media page right now, you're not going to see those times when people were struggling. You're just going to see the success, success, success. But that's not how life works. In fact, the reality is there's probably 100 times more failure than there actually is success. And so on every social media page you're looking at, you're just seeing a completely unrepresentative sample of what it takes to get there. And unfortunately for you guys, scrolling is not going to fix that problem. It's not going to give you some sort of motivation to go back to work. That's something that has to come from deep down within. That's that thing that's going to wake you up at 5 a.m. in the morning or early in the morning to get after whatever piece of work you still need to do, because you know that you have this fire inside of you. You know you have this potential. You know you were made for more. But to be honest, if you don't believe you're made for more, if you don't have that inner desire, like, keep scrolling. This video is really not for you. But if you do have that and do believe it, understand that the only way you're actually going to make it is if you put in sickening amounts of work. It's going to be a crazy amount of work. The workload is going to be almost like a maniac. But if you can make it, and if you can push past through that uncomfortable period of just work and work and work and work and work for, let's say, 3 years, let's say 5 years, let's say who knows how long. If you can accept that uncertainty of not knowing when you're going to become successful, and you can accept the certainty of that there's going to be a boatload, like I'm talking ocean-filled level of work, always. If you accept those two things, you're already 80% of the way there towards success. So many people can't even accept those two things first. So realize that is the key. Having those fundamental truths and acceptances are going to shift your mindset towards really like conquering stuff instead of just reacting. Be proactive, be out there attacking opportunity. There's so many opportunities today in this world. If you're watching me on a phone, you already have so much access to all these different opportunities. And the question is, are you really utilizing it? Focus on not, how many times can I actually become successful or do something well? Focus instead on how many times can I just do something? How many times can I throw myself out there and, see what happens? Because so much of the time it's just showing up. You already make it halfway there towards your success. And then the rest of it is just from that grind and that hard work. But many, many people are not even putting themselves out there, and they're permanently stopping themselves from becoming successful. So my number one tip to you guys, put yourself out there and don't be afraid for whatever comes next. To be honest, the worst case scenario is that it all sucks for 2 years, but then afterwards it gets better, or everyone forgot about what happened. Really, there's no downside to taking that risk. You have to shift your mindset and just understand that you can't live in fear every single day of what others think of you, of how they judge you, because you need to be more focused on the goal and what you want to achieve, and that needs to be your number one priority. You need to be working pretty much so much of the time such that you don't even have time to fill your brain with those thoughts. You're so locked in that all you can think about is the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step. Then you go to sleep and you wake up and you repeat. I think one of the biggest things that most people struggle with is that you go to sleep and you wake up, and if you didn't finish your to-do list from the day before, when you wake up, you still have that same to-do list. If you don't finish it the next day, that to-do list is always there. You're adding tasks constantly. So it's just a constant battle. It's not always about finishing it. It's just about making those progress every single day towards it, finishing some sort of task. Just get used to getting things done. You got to work faster and faster and faster. If you have something that takes only 1 to 2 minutes, just kill procrastination. Just start right now and just get it out of the way. Otherwise, how else do you expect to be successful, guys? It's such a hard journey. People give up all the time. So you can't expect yourself to work 50%, work super lazy, work haphazardly, and somehow make it. You have to work to an extent that most people don't even see in their entire lives. And then from there, you have to question, am I actually working enough or not? I'm just keeping 100% real with you guys. If you actually want to make it, it's an extremely tough journey. I'm not saying you can't make it. I'm just saying it's extremely tough, and that you have to be tough on yourself to push yourself and dig deeper, because you have more inside of you. You're capable of it. But it's just, are you going to push yourself to that extent to find out what you truly are capable of?